Here's a statistic that stopped me cold when I first read it. Researchers in Japan followed 43,000 adults for 7 years. They tracked one single variable. Not diet, not exercise, not how much money they had. Just whether or not people had a clear sense of purpose. A reason to get up in the morning. The people who said they lacked that purpose? They were 1.5 times more likely to die during those 7 years. Not because of any one disease, just because. In Japan, they have a word for this reason to get up in the morning. It's called Ikigai, and the science behind it is turning out to be one of the most powerful tools we have for staying mentally sharp, emotionally grounded, and genuinely alive into our 70s, 80s, and beyond. So today, we're going to break down exactly what Ikigai is, why it matters so much for your brain specifically after 50, and, most importantly, a simple exercise you can do this week to start finding yours. Stay with me. This one's worth your time. So let's start with what Ikigai actually means, because I promise it's both simpler and richer than the Instagram version you may have seen. The word itself breaks down like this. Iki means life, and gai means value or worth. Your Ikigai is literally what makes your life feel worth living, what you love, what you're good at, what the world needs, what you can be paid for or contribute. Now, here's where I want to push back gently on the Western version of this. In Japan, Ikigai isn't a career plan. It's not a productivity hack. It doesn't have to be grand or world-changing. For many older Japanese people, Ikigai is tending a garden, teaching grandchildren to fold origami, making soup from scratch every morning. The point isn't the size of the thing. The point is that it pulls you forward. It gives shape to your day. And after 50, especially if you're approaching retirement, or your kids have left home, or your career is winding down, that feeling of forward pull can quietly disappear. Not with a bang, just a slow fading. Let's talk about what's actually happening in the brain when you have, or lose, a sense of purpose. A landmark study published in JAMA Psychiatry in 2019 followed over 1,300 older adults and found that people with a stronger sense of life purpose had significantly better episodic memory. That's your ability to recall events and experiences, as well as better executive function, which is your ability to plan, focus, and make decisions. These are exactly the cognitive domains most vulnerable to age-related decline. And here's the biological mechanism. Why this makes neurological sense, not just philosophical sense. When you engage with something meaningful, your brain activates the prefrontal cortex, the seat of higher thinking, along with the reward circuitry that releases dopamine. Dopamine doesn't just feel good, it plays a critical role in memory consolidation and motivation. No dopamine, no drive to learn. No drive to learn, and the brain starts to contract. There's also strong evidence linking purpose to lower cortisol. That's your stress hormone. Chronically elevated cortisol is one of the most damaging things you can do to your hippocampus, the brain's memory center. Purpose, it turns out, is a stress buffer. And then there's Okinawa. Japan's Okinawa prefecture consistently produces some of the highest concentrations of centenarians, people who live to 100, anywhere on Earth. Researchers studying their lifestyle cite Ikigai repeatedly as a distinguishing factor. Not just the food, not just the movement, the sense that every single day there is something worth showing up for. That's not coincidence. That's biology. So if Ikigai is this powerful, why do so many people lose it in their 50s and 60s? Because life, helpfully, removes all your scaffolding at once. Your career, which gave you structure, identity, and a reason to get dressed, either ends or starts to feel hollow. Your children grow up, your social circle shrinks, your body starts requiring more maintenance. And the culture around you, honestly, doesn't do a great job of reflecting back what a rich, purposeful second half of life looks like. Here's the thing, though, and this is important. Losing your Ikigai is not a character flaw. It is a completely predictable consequence of major life transitions. The research on what psychologists call role exit is clear. When you lose a major social role, whether that's professional, parental, or athletic, you go through something very much like grief. The problem is that our culture treats this as a private matter, something to just push through. It isn't. And recognizing that is the first step. The good news? Ikigai is not fixed. It can be found and it can be rebuilt. And the older brain is, contrary to everything you may have been told, surprisingly well suited to this kind of deep, values-driven reflection. All right, let's get practical, because I don't want to leave you with a beautiful Japanese concept and zero idea what to do with it. So here is a simple framework, the Ikigai Audit, that you can do with a pen and paper this week. Question 1. What did you love before you were told to be practical? Not what you're good at, what you loved. Think back to your teenage self, before the mortgage and the career pressures. What lit you up? Music, building things, talking to people, teaching? Question 2. What comes so naturally to you that you forget it's a skill? Everyone has something like this. The ability to explain complicated things clearly, to calm people down in a crisis, to notice what nobody else notices. These are often invisible to us because we assume everyone can do them. They can't. Question 3. What small moments in your day currently feel most alive? Not most productive, most alive. Morning coffee in silence? A good conversation? Moving your body? Working with your hands? These are signals from your nervous system. Listen to them. And question 4. Who or what do you actually want to show up for? This might be people, grandchildren, a community, students, patients. It might be a cause. It might just be the natural world. Purpose, at its root, is relational. We are wired to matter to something beyond ourselves. Take those 4 answers and look for overlap. You don't need all 4 circles to align on one grand thing. Any meaningful overlap is a thread worth pulling. And, this is important, start small. Ikigai lives in daily rituals, not bucket lists. Here's where I want to land today. Your brain after 50 is not a declining machine waiting for the inevitable. It's a brain that has decades of pattern recognition, emotional regulation, and accumulated wisdom behind it. What it needs, what the research is increasingly clear it needs, is a reason to keep firing. Ikigai gives it that reason. This week, I want you to take 20 quiet minutes, no phone, no TV, and work through those 4 questions. Write the answers down, actual pen, actual paper, and see what overlaps. If this video made you think differently about what the second half of life can look like, share it with someone who needs to hear it. That's the best thing you can do for this channel and for them. I'll see you in the next one. Stay sharp.